Hello and welcome to module 3, looking after yourself, James. So we're living in this fast-paced world, aren't we, where people are struggling to do the basics. They might know that they got to sleep better, sleep more, do some exercise, not eat the junk, but statistics are telling us, James, 70% of people are either overweight or obese. Antidepressants are at record highs, anti-anxiety pills, those type of things, childhood obesity. We've got more information than ever before in terms of
Hmm.
health well-being. We've got more health professionals, more courses, more everything.
We're
But people,
inundated with information.
so much of it, but people in general are struggling. And this has been our realm for the last 20 years, habit
Yeah.
change and trying to think about ways to help people in an environment where they are really struggling. And most people
Mm.
are struggling in this game, aren't they? It's affecting their
Yeah.
mindset, it's affecting their body. What do you think, James?
Well, we get it. You and I get it. We have an understanding and an experience of pushback. I feel it. You feel it. As soon as somebody tells me to do something because it's good for me, I'm going to push back against it. How can we get into a situation where we draw people towards a common goal of looking after themselves better? But fundamentally, it has to be a desire and a feeling like we deserve to feel better. So
Yeah.
it's not enough just to say, right, you've got to do this, be dictatorial, waggy finger, and beat people over the head with it, because
Yeah. Or
they don't
shame
want that.
people into it, saying, "Oh,
Shame,
look at
guilt
this person,
doesn't
looks
work.
skinny in a six pack. You don't look
It
the
doesn't
same.
work.
You're a rubbish person."
Yeah.
It
Because
doesn't work, does
if
it?
the desire isn't there, why would you do it? It's
Yeah.
like, I struggle to get up in the morning. So actually feeding myself or going and meditating, sleeping better, going to bed at a decent time, all that just it's not relevant. So it's meeting people where they're at right now. But you can't deny the fact that there are certain things that you can do that will improve outcomes. So
Yeah.
we are going to go into those details, but it's with that lens of saying, until we reach the point that we want to help ourselves, we feel worthy of feeling better, then we're just blowing smoke up our asses, aren't we?
That's 100% true. And that is comes back down to the first two modules, awareness and understanding yourself. Because if you don't feel like you're worth it and you don't believe you're worth looking after yourself and you're not the priority, and you
Doesn't
tell
matter what you
yourself a
say.
story. How many
Yeah,
stories have we heard, James? I'm always been like this.
yeah.
I haven't
This
got
is me.
time.
I do this for so long, and I end
I
up back at the beginning. I get
Yeah.
all enthusiastic about it at the beginning. I think this is it. This is my time. This is a great opportunity, and I'll self-sabotage
Yeah. My knees
time and
hurt,
time
my
again.
back
We all
hurts.
we all do it.
I
We
haven't got
all do it.
time.
How do you get
It's
yourself out of that loop?
I'm gonna do it when I get back from holiday. I'm gonna
Yeah,
start next week. I'm
when
gonna
the
do it
time's right,
just
when all the stars are aligned, when
yeah.
life calms down a bit. I hear it time and time again. I'm getting through this bit at the moment, and trust me, a perfect time is never coming. It's never going to come.
Yeah. And this goes back to your identity, doesn't it, James, of what we covered in the first two modules. So this module will go through the practicalities of what you can do and how to implement things, but really it's about believing in a person that you are becoming. You're
Mm,
already that person. You're just moving in that direction along that pathway.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's a belief system, isn't it, James? Of you're making very micro choices every day that end up making a huge difference in the long run. If you just have those, 5 biscuits at the end of the day, doesn't feel like a lot. You
Yeah.
do that for a month, that's 150 biscuits. You do it for a year, it's a few thousand biscuits. £10 a year is nothing. £20,
And
£30.
eating those biscuits, does that feel like you're punishing yourself? Is that you're kind of eating those biscuits like, fuck it? Or is it like, oh, they taste good and the ingredients in it just make you want to eat more of those biscuits? Well, there's a combination of the two. But the way in which you eat that biscuit is key as well. And again, it's being self-aware enough to notice those moments when you're in the cupboard and you're just chucking that in because you don't care. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just going to eat this.
So
So
we've
it's
seen people, haven't
mindful
we,
about that.
James? Both ends of the scale. We've had the clients in their 20s or 30s who are maybe not looking after themselves. And then we've also seen the people in their 40s, 50s, 60s who are actually paying the price of reality, which is diabetes, cancer, heart attacks. So
Inflammation.
we've seen the reality firsthand of what the impact of your lifestyle is. And people think they can get away with it. They think that it's never going to catch up with them. And because we're in that field, we see the reality. But it's very hard to tell people, isn't it? That,
Yeah.
look, this is where it's going to go. When you're in that moment, you think, oh, who cares? It's a glass of wine. It's a bottle of wine.
Especially when you're young. You feel invincible.
Yeah.
When it's like, I worry about that when I get to that age. And like, again, we've been there. I smoked until about the age of 25.
Yeah.
I didn't particularly eat well or look after myself probably until my 40s, to be honest. So, I get it. We both get it. We understand it. You've had your struggles. I've had my struggles. But again, it comes to that point in which you kind of feel worthy of nourishing yourself, waking up in the morning, not feeling like you haven't slept. The aches and the headaches and the dullness in the head, and just assuming that that is your life now, that is you going forward.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be.
No.
But again, there's that period of challenging that reality that you can then start to, and it may only just take one incident, one day of waking up, feeling a little bit brighter, not aching quite as much, to have that realization that actually change is possible. And as soon as you experience that, it's like, oh, I quite like a bit more of that. And then you do it again and get the same result. And you do it again, get the same result. And it's that confirmation that actually the behaviors will produce that outcome. It's like, I don't have to be in pain all the time. I don't have to be inflamed.
Yeah.
So within the PDF, we'll give you some very clear ideas about what you can do to get yourself out of that situation. But again, it comes down to how you feel about yourself fundamentally. And it's not us being all sort of dictatorial and, this is us being perfect individuals, because we're not, but it just allows you to change that trajectory to get a different outcome.
Yeah.
And you adapt it to what works for you.
I 100% agree, James, because that awareness piece, isn't it, to understand how you react in different environments, whether you're picking up the sugar-based foods to make yourself feel better, your morning routines, certain people that trigger you, work environments that maybe trigger you into bad behaviors, culture in terms of, are you hanging around with people that drink and smoke all the time? you've got to be very aware of the things that are drawing you in to your behaviors, and that's paramount to actually thinking, I want to change. I want to be better.
Yeah.
It's like driving a car with, flat tires. You can barely see through the windscreen. You're
Yeah.
driving your body through this thing that we call life. You either want to drive with flat tires and you can't see through the windscreen and it's all over the place on a bumpy road. You don't know where you're going. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
good. Or
Or you might not
you know,
even be aware that you've got flat tires, and you just think that that's
no,
that's how it
not
is.
not until they're pumped up. Not until the tires
Yeah.
are pumped up. You've cleared the window screen and you think,
Oh,
that's
that's
what for us what
what
happened
an
when
analogy.
we stopped drinking, isn't it, James? So we don't really drink alcohol. Well, very rarely anymore. As you do, you get older. But the difference, you
Yeah.
just the clarity of mind, the skin is better, you're feeling better, there's no hangovers. It's
But
just
we get the peer pressure, we get the identity in a group. If you're in a group of mates that you're going out for a drink and you're not drinking, it's hard.
it's hard,
People
yeah.
initially treat you different. That it's like, well, what do you mean you're not drinking? Because again, it comes down to how it makes you feel as an individual. Somebody else is enacting a behavior that you would quite like for yourself. But again, it comes down to a belief system around discipline, or I'm not disciplined enough, or I haven't got the willpower. All of those things that we tell ourselves, it's about willpower, it's about discipline. I'm just not that kind of. Again, these are the narratives, these are the stories that we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's, you could say, well, it lets you off the hook. You're then not accountable, that you can continue those behaviors because you've told yourself that, I'm not the type of person that ... whatever that is. But again, challenge that. It's like, well, I'm tired of waking up in the morning feeling hungover or just like shit. And I want to be able to be brighter for the day, more kind of cognizant and clearer headed. It's like, well, things need to change, don't they?
And it's not just, how you feel, it radiates across your whole life. You might be leading your family, your kids might be watching exactly what you do. You're setting precedent, you're demonstrating what leadership is. If you
Yeah,
don't look after yourself, then you can't expect your
yeah,
children to follow suit. You can't expect your work colleagues to follow suit. If you're in a leadership position at work and you've not looked after your body,
yeah,
or you're not looking after other aspects of your life, that is basically a visual demonstration that there's you're not regulating your emotional state, you're not being able to organize stuff, to be disciplined in that way, or you haven't built the skill of the habit to look after yourself. So
yeah,
people are looking at that, and it's a harsh world. People are judging it. You don't feel good. No, you've got to take that into consideration, James, haven't you?
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. And for full transparency, this course speaks to that. So for us to actually sit down and make this course, this is us being honest now that this is what we're doing right now. It's that accountability to each other and to create this thing.
Yeah,
So we're in this sort of infinite loop, really, aren't we? Because we are putting this out, but this is for us as well,
yeah.
isn't it?
And this part of the course, James, is not a diet fad. It's not a
No,
12-week program, which we've done in the past many a time, where people lose the weight, they do this, that's for 12 weeks. You leave them alone to their own devices. No, they haven't changed at all. They go backwards pretty much. They haven't
yeah,
changed the fundamental beliefs and feelings around how they
yeah.
feel about
It's
themselves
surface stuff. It's surface. If you try
to
and
do it.
stick something on top of a crumbling foundation, it's not going to work.
It's not
It
going to
just
work.
doesn't work. It really
You
doesn't. It
can't build on
works
that.
for a short period of time. Maybe you get some achievement. Maybe you reach what you perceive to be the goal. You then get to that and go, well, that doesn't feel like I thought it was going to. because it's
Yeah,
empty. We're all have these voids that we're trying to fill with stuff. And until we address the void, doesn't matter how much you put in there, it'll take that all day long. It's
definitely.
infinite.
And I think what we've learned, James, is that there are a tendency for some personality types to go from zero to, booking a
100
marathon.
miles an hour.
And you've got to be conscious. We would say from experience, take your time. Start off with simple, small changes and then build upon them. So something like start off with drinking more water. That's all you
Very
need to
simple.
do.
Yeah.
Week 1, week 2, drink more water. Go from 1 liter water a day to 2 to 3 liters of water per day. That's all you have to do. Just tick that off. Get into the habit of drinking more water. It will suppress your appetite. You'll feel a lot better, and it's just going to help you all round. It's going to help you with your sleep and everything, won't it? And then just be conscious that when you're drinking more water, that on the rest of the things you drink, cut out sugary drinks, decrease the alcohol intake. Anything you're drinking on a liquid form, decrease the fruits, juices that you take, the pure sugar juices. Up the water, reduce the rest of the things. Don't drink caffeine, beyond your threshold, which might be, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just don't drink caffeine because it's going to affect your sleeping patterns. Simple things that they change your life, don't they, James? We tell people that, but they seem too simple to be true. That's because in this industry, people want to make money all the time, James, and they want to have the quick fix, the special name diet. But reality, it's the simple things, isn't it?
And it all comes down to, again, I say it all comes down to, it's a huge part of it, is what we were told growing up and how we anchor those belief systems to what our parents told us. Because if we start to question that or something changes around that, it's then everything starts to implode a little bit. It's like, well, if that wasn't true, then I shouldn't be eating 3 square meals a day with snacks in between. I shouldn't be eating that particular food. But that's what my parents brought me up on, and that's how they showed love, and that was what we ate as a family. And well, if that's an issue, then what else was an issue? And it starts to then question everything. So we tend to hold on to those stories that we have in our heads, the experience we had growing up. And again, if anything comes in that's contra to that, we are going to push back against it because it's representative of everything, isn't it? It's not just the individual thing. It's not just saying, well, you shouldn't really eat that sugary meal, or that biscuit or that brownie or whatever. Maybe a piece of fruit because it comes in natural form, and yes, it's got fructose in it, but yes, the fiber there is going to slow down the absorption, dietary fiber, etc. I mean, the majority of stuff like that we know anyway. We kind of know what's good for us and what isn't good for us.
And we will cover it here. We'll just go through it. So drink more water, decrease alcohol, decrease sugary drinks, and decrease your caffeine after your threshold, which is probably going to be around about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I would say start. If you can't sleep, then do it much earlier. That'd be the simple one.
Activity wise, try and be more active. Go out for walks.
Just start walking.
Just move.
Move on a something that you actually like doing, and that could be a byproduct of just walking the dog or just going for a walk. Listen to a podcast and go for a walk. You could do anything, whether you want to join a gym or you've got friends that you can join with. You do gardening, that might be part of your exercise. But when it comes to the exercise stuff, I would say focus on water. Get your water first. Set yourself up. How important sleep is. So if you can try to get a good 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night, make sure you're in Prioritize the
Everything
simple
feeds
things.
off decent night's sleep.
The sleep's
Everything.
so important. I know that you might have kids at the moment, and you're part of a stage of your life where it might be out of your control. But we're just saying, do the best that you can in your own life. Make it easier for you if you need to get some, blinds if it's too much light coming in from the outside, or you need to get a fan, or you need to cool that down, or you need to get some better bed linen or a better mattress because it's uncomfortable for you. But there's ways that we'll show you in the PDF of how to optimize your sleep, but just recognize how important it is. First of all, if you're missing 2-3 hours every night, you're reducing the output by 30-40%, and then all your
Yeah.
hormones will be all over the place. Over a long period of time, you'll feel very fatigued. Your immune system will be down. So realize that just water and sleep, it will go a huge way. And then we look at your nutrition. So you're not going to out train your nutrition. You could eat 2,000 calories within like 5 minutes. It's going to
It's
take you
really
hours.
hard to burn enough calories. You've got to go for
You've got to
some
go.
serious
Yeah.
hard exercise to burn enough calories to
If you're not an elite
compensate for what you've
athlete,
eaten.
that you see these people having, tennis players or whatever, having 5 to 10,000 calories a day, you're not training unless you're training 8 hours a day like these people are, and you've been doing it forever and your whole body's pretty much just muscle. Then trust me, you're not going to out train your diet.
Yeah.
So
You want to
get your
hide into
diet.
nothing, chaps.
Yeah, you could practically do hardly any exercise. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but still be, relatively okay, toned, healthy, and in a good weight range just by concentrating on your nutrition. Because if you exercise too early, all that's going to happen is you're going to be more hungry, and if you haven't got your food, structure set up or your routine set up, then you're just more likely to be eating junk all the time if you just go straight into exercise. So I would say water, sleep, food. Food wise, start to understand what a calorie is. It's a unit of energy. For most of you, for the guys, it's going to be around about, 2,000, 2,500. For the women, might be 1,500 to 2,000. Might be more or less depending on your height, weight, activity level. We'll show you links online where you can go and check what yours should be roughly. And then what you can do in the short term, I don't know if you agree with this, James, but you can use apps like MyFitnessPal. We'll put some links into different apps where you can start to look at different foods and how many calories are in the food. So when you get used to it, like James and I, and you've been in this game for a long time, you can just do it off by heart. You can look at a plate, you can roughly gauge how many calories it is, what's in it, if it's a slow carbohydrate, a fast acting carbohydrate, how much protein's on the plate, what the vitamin mineral intake is, what the fats are in that particular meal. If you have no idea what nutrition is, then maybe it's a good idea to get yourself on one of these apps. You can take the picture of the food. It will feed back to you what these macro splits are, or macronutrient splits being fats, proteins, carbohydrates, micronutrients. And then you start to educate yourself, because it's a good thing to be educated on. And if you have no idea what this is, then this is definitely part of your self-development journey. Would you agree?
And again,
on
we
that
understand that, some people are into the data and like to get granular on the micros and the macros.
Yeah, which is not us.
And calorie, which is not us.
No, we don't count calories.
No, but we get it, that some people will need
structure,
to be able to structure and, all of that data. They're very much data driven. And we've got clients of people that we've come across that like that. They're very analytical. And there's other people that aren't. So again, it's just sort of gauging it and gearing it towards how you best respond to it. It's that simple.
Because if you're really struggling in this on the nutrition side, there may be, especially at the beginning, to actually check what calories are coming in and out. You know, just if you have got no education on it and you don't understand it, then start that process. You know, don't be overwhelmed by it. Just see it as part of your learning and development process of educating yourself around nutrition. So I would say that would be on the food side. So calories in, calories out. If you consume more calories than you actually burn, you're going to put on body fat and weight. That's just
simple.
It's just the way it is.
That simple.
Obviously, there's nutrient value within the food that's going to help you in different ways. So help with your skin, your hair, immune system. So it doesn't mean just because you eat 2,000 calories of sugar, that's a good thing.
Okay.
You want to still
I think we've labored the point, mate.
Do people know, James?
We're going to move. I think
you take it for granted how much you do know. I think people are.
I'm going to trust. I'm going to trust in the process.
Yeah, we'll put the simple things down on there, and then, like we said, it's the mindset around that. So the mindset around the food, your emotional triggers around the food. So you're going to have to understand what sets you off. Don't buy it. Clear your cupboards. Speak to your partner. Get them involved with change, because if your partner's eating crisp chocolate right next to you, or if you're an alcoholic, you don't really want to go to a pub. You know, you're going to have to try to set your environment up to win, James. That's what I found with clients, is that, you know, I don't buy biscuits because I love them. And if I'm working from home and there's biscuits in the cupboard,
you're going to eat them.
I'm highly likely just going to have one
packet in one go.
One turns into two. Two can turn into a pack quite easily. If I have to go all the way to the shop to go and get it, that just gives my brain enough time to just say, no, I'm not going to do it. So on the last bit, like we said, exercise wise, we would recommend you start off with just getting your step count up.
We're going to call it activity. Let's just call it activity.
Yeah.
Movement. Just move your body.
Movement and consistency of that movement. We could get very neurotic with sets, reps, training routines, XFit, CrossFit, triathlon, swimming. Realistically, move your body in a healthy way initially. Don't go crazy. Start slow and just do something you can be consistent with. And once you choose a form, then get granular on the actual technique. Don't just go think I'm going to go do weight training and throw weights around. Once you think you can do something consistently, that's when you think, okay, I need to learn more about this discipline. But in general, most people, I would say, if you can get your steps up and you can do some, you know, squats at home or some aerobic type exercise at home, you're pretty much 95% of the way there, James.
Yeah.
On that one.
Okay, let's wrap this one up. So
last one, James, on that sunlight. Sorry, last one.
Oh, sunlight. Yeah. Get out, get some sunlight.
Get
early
outside.
Morning. Even if it's only 5-10 minutes. If it's overcast, ideally for about 20 minutes. If it's bright sunlight, you're good to go with 5 to 10 minutes.
And stop and be conscious of sitting. Sitting is a modern epidemic. People sit in their cars, they sit at their office all day. Be very careful if you sit all day and then go and do vigorous exercise, and not a good move. So you're better off trying to get like a stand-up desk, which is very, very useful if you are somebody who sits a lot. Or if you're doing exercise, be very cautious, go slow and don't go crazy if you sit all day. Build yourself up to different types of exercise like walking, very light mobility exercises. Otherwise you're going to cause yourself an injury. But sitting and sunlight, huge.
Sitting in sunlight.
Sitting in sunlight. Stand up and walk
Stand
outside.
barefoot in the grass in sunshine.
Yeah.
You'll
And that's
you'll
another
be
thing,
brand
like you said,
new.
James, what you said there, barefoot as well. We will put that in our notes. We're massive advocates of companies like Vivo. There's other ones you can get on Amazon, but biomechanically, you're not built to have massive cushions strapped to your feet. So the more you can get as flat to the surface as possible, again, this takes some time to build up because your feet are probably very weak. You've probably always worn trainers since you was a kid. You might not have no mobility. I know, James, you never had no arches, did you, at one point in your feet? But if you can get back to working your way up to being barefoot and wearing barefoot trainers, it's been a game changer for me. And that's somebody who's had like massive back problems in the past. And for you, James, you love barefoot as well, don't you?
I love it. Love it.
Love
Back to
it.
nature. Okay, so we'll do a calming meditation as well, just to get you into the right mindset with this as an added bonus. So that is the end of module 3.
Yeah. Any questions, fire them down below or send them to us, and we will happily guide you in the right direction. Thanks, James.
Fantastic. Thanks, John.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate. Bye, bye, bye.